Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Well, I'm not long in. I know it's set this for a bit later, but I wasn't too sure of timings. Bit of a disaster actually trying to see this movie because initially my plan was to go straight after work. It's only 10 minutes to the town centre from where I work, so uh, the larger chain cinema, go there. There's supposed to be a show on at 10 past 6. It turns out that it wasn't actually in that one, the bigger one in the centre of town, but maybe shitty local one. That's what it was showing. So had to wait. Came home, got sorted out, went down, and I have to say, I had a really good time. This was a lot of fun. I was a bit worried because there's been a lot of hype, as in a lot of ads and a lot of promotion, and it had every opportunity to be real corny and cheesy and just off the mark. But bloody hell, this pulled it out of the bag. This is a quality movie. Um, I don't normally say that about Hollywood stuff, but bloody hell. So what we'll have here, essentially, it's a comedy, but it's a comedy with horror comedy, but it's got a dark edge. Well, it was only rated 15, so they've kind of dialed it down a bit, but they've really taken that up to the edge. You know what I mean? A few more, be a bit more graphic, and easily hit the 18 mark. So obviously they dialed it down enough to reach a larger audience. This movie should do well. Really should. I think people, even if you're not into horror, go and watch this movie. You'll enjoy it because it's got the action flick kind of side to it as well, which really works. So essentially, the plot is Renfield, Dracula. Everyone knows that story. We're told the tale in a flashback, and that's where you get the bits in the final trailer where it's done in black and white and Nicolas Cage pulling off the Bela Lugosi type. That section was done really well. That could have been terrible, but they really did pay homage to Bela Lugosi's version of Dracula, and Nicolas Cage playing straight for that part, and the other scenes that were all part of this were just done brilliantly. Then we get to the modern day, so it turns out I don't really want to spoil the plot because obviously I want you to go see the movie, but basically what happens is Dracula, he builds up in power and he gets to a certain point and then he just goes absolutely crazy. Then he attracts types, and then that's where he gets hunted. Then they have to move, set up somewhere else, and the whole cycle starts again. And that's just him. He just can't help himself. This is where Renfield they find themselves, and this is all in the trailer notes. They find themselves in New Orleans, and this is where he discovers self-help group, which is actually a focal part of the story. Don't want to go too much into it. It's not over hammed, if that makes sense. And there's a possibility it could have just been like one scene, and then you got no payoff, but you actually did, because him going to the groups sets off a whole chain of events that carries the plot along. Really well done. So obviously we've got Renfield's story and him trying to break free of Dracula. We've also got Rebecca, the police officer in this. You got her story, basically trying to avenge the death of her father against the crime family, one of the crime families in the city. The two plots obviously end up intertwined and it carries forward. The introduction of Rebecca to this is absolutely brilliant, and one of the antagonists, Lobo, just their introduction of this is fantastic. I have to say, no woke shit in this. There's human characters, strengths, flaws, human fallibilities. It's all played out. I really like Rebecca's character. She's brilliant. They could have easily made her a girl boss, and just made her that type of snarky, horrible, unappealing. But what we get here is actually a strong woman, a strong woman with purpose, also has self doubts, and is also human, going up against supernatural forces. So you can picture how that turns out. And of course, we'll see in the trailer anyway, her meeting, how she meets Renfield, the bar scene. So that all plays out and then escalates. And then we get the other characters involved. So there's actually given, sorry, some, excuse me. Sorry about that. We get this whole range of characters. And there's not really side characters in this, if this makes sense. It's not like, there's obviously goons, and there's henchmen and there's all that kind of stuff. But there's quite a wide ranging cast in this. And everyone gets their moment, the appropriate amount of time, if that makes sense. And they all help tell the story. And that hasn't been done in ages. And it was actually the thing that worried me was obviously Nicholas Hoult, because the last movie I remember him was Warm Bodies, and God, that was an abomination. It was just teeny love stuff with zombies, but just wasn't good. But he really plays it up. He has that sort of weedy look to him, but then that works better with the supernatural aspect, where you see in the trailers anyway. I have to say, if you're going by just the trailer and you think it's all going to be sanitized, think again. There's gore in this. There's like proper horror gore, which I was surprised by and delighted that they actually went full tilt with the gore and it didn't mess about. Yes, there's digital blood. Sorry. It is Hollywood after all. You'll have to put up with that. But the other stuff, the way they do it, is brilliant. And the good thing is there's good storytelling. So you can forgive the digital blood. I hate it. Absolutely despise it. And actually him, as he grows in power, he gets surprised himself. He's like, I didn't realize I could do that sort of whoa sort of thing. And plus, they didn't have those two fall. This could have been like a goofy romantic comedy, because I know they were hinting at a lot, at the start, but these two come into each other in the right way. The relationship works in the right way because obviously there's the whole her coming into contact with the supernatural and all with that ensues. So she's actually questioned about it. She's revolted by it, revulsed, and she doesn't just fall into his arms or vice versa. It's done really well. The whole crime family aspect of it is a story in itself, and it's a lot of fun. Really well. Shora Hagersley, she was from. I remember her from The Expanse. Although I'll be honest, I got a few seasons in that, and then I'm starting to get into the. But she plays a bloody brilliant role in this. I'll just put it like that. She plays a brilliant role, and of course, Nicolas Cage absolutely smashes it. There's no if, buts, or maybe. He actually tones himself down. He tones down the Nick Cage aspect and leans into the Dracula playing, and it's brilliant. And I mean, we see all aspects. What it shows you in the trailer is only like the sort of goofy, glamorous, vampire portion. But we'll see other scenes. There's a particular scene in an apartment, and it's him, it's Nicolas Cage as Dracula, and it really shows a whole range here, and it actually shows their relationship, because him and Renfield, we'll touch on it a bit. It could have been easy just to gloss over it, but they actually show how the relationship works. and the fact that being so long together, and that which is why his betrayal, because obviously that's part of the story. His betrayal hurts so much, and it's really good. I can't speak highly enough of this movie. I suppose I'm struggling here because I don't want to go into the plot and spoil it because it's literally just out, and really want you a chance. Rebecca's relationship with her sister Kate, another good one as well. And once again, it shows the vulnerability and fallibility. That's why you like characters. Nobody likes a Mary Sue or a Himbo or a perfect character with no flaws. What is there to look at? As in, what's there to take in? But when you see flawed characters and not everyone just, does everything perfectly, they mess up, they don't get it right. They're just as vulnerable as everybody else, especially when you're up against danger. That's what you like to see, because then you have sympathy, then you root for them, and you want them to succeed. Yeah, so you've two main storylines in this. Let's just put it like this: the two storylines merge, and it comes to a great conclusion. The thing with the support group wasn't wasted. It's not just a goofy thing. It's actually an integral part of the plot, which I'm happy for because see it's played up. It actually works so well, and then you understand what happens and how it's resolved, that it's good rate. And there's every chance there could be a sequel of this. To be honest, I don't know what they would do with it. Could be really terrible if they don't think through, stick with the original theme, but just don't try to one up it or do something stupid. Good example is actually what do you call that there? Kick-Ass. The first one was cool on its own. Funny enough, the Cage is in that as well. The first one was great premise. The second one was absolutely shit because they tried too much with the wrong characters. At least with this, you're left with a core group of characters that you can work with, and then you can go to a whole new scenario, and it can work as a sequel. So yeah, it's left open that there's a possibility of a sequel. If they do it right, the sequel just be good as this. Because normally comedies sequels will work, but think of Beverly Hills Cop and Beverly Hills Cop 2. There's an example of comedy where sequels work. Horror comedy, House 2. You can't. We'll forget the other two movies, but House and House 2. There's a classic example of a horror comedy and a horror comedy sequel that worked brilliantly. So it is possible to do. Let's hope so. But please go check this movie out. It's well worth it. I'm going to keep this one short because I'm just so tempted to go through the plot, and it's too early. Maybe in a few weeks' time, when everyone's had a chance to go and see it, we'll have a better discussion. But yeah, if you go see the movie this weekend, leave a comment. Try to avoid spoilers for a week or two at least. Just say what you think. Just mention maybe characters and what you thought. That yeah, enjoyed that paid off or staying. But yeah, obviously give people a chance to get out and see this and enjoy it. So there you go. There's my review. A lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed it. It exceeded my expectations because I knew it could have went either way, and it actually was deeper and had a darker edge than I thought. Especially according to the trailers and what we'd seen, definitely had a darker edge. So if you're a horror fan, you're gonna love this. If you're not a horror fan, you can see it as an action film. There's going to be a few moments you're going to be like, oh, just warning you there. But it's not over the top. But there you go. Let me know what you think. Tomorrow, I'm guest appearing on Dragonlance Saga's channel. I'll pop the link in the community tab. And Sunday, we are doing a review of mutant vampires from Neptune. Yep. So keep an eye out for that one. Plus, with other stuff planned as well for later months. So do the type of clicky things, go up the channel, and until next time, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.